but you can definitely get great results with time that's targeted and strategic. And you have to
Exactly.
ramp it up appropriately so that your body can also catch up. And you jump into that exercise routine that you did when you were at 22 at 40, but you've spent the last 12, 15, over 2 decades sedentary. You are in a world of trouble.
I'm like 40 years old now, but we have a lot of older dudes, older folks, as they say in the
Yeah.
group, right? And I've noticed that a lot of these guys, are high performers, business owners, they don't have a lot of time. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that you need to work out a lot to get great results. And
No,
that is not the case.
no.
So I wanted to do this interview with you for them, just for the guys in the free group that are maybe over 30 and 40 years old. They're not in the 20s and they think I'm not in my prime anymore. So if I want to like lose 10 pounds, I need to go 2 hours to the gym. Not the case, right?
No, no, 100% not. No, no, no worries. And let me just premise too for the guys listening and stuff like that. I do this with the guys in the optimum use, so you're gonna see some high level stuff, but put 168 on top of your like calculator, minus 56 if you're sleeping 8 hours per week, minus a full work week. America says 40. Other countries are more or less. If you're a different country, you're probably less because you don't care about a work week like 40 hours like America does.
Yeah.
And then, if you're doing anything else, I've literally done this with exercise with so many people. Gaspar, you're not as busy as you think, and you are busy. Trust me, you are. But there's probably more time. And I've seriously seen guys and guys that are 30, 40 guys, listen to this, that have kids, okay? Have kids that have kid commitments, things like this. And they literally come up and like, Seamus, I got 29 hours left when I did that exercise.
Mm.
Okay, they're still equating for the fact that they got to drive to work, rinse, shower, pee poo, meal prep, exercise, whatever. And they're like, Seamus, I got like another 30, 40 hours per week free.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's another full-time job in America. So first off, let's think about that. And let's answer your question there. You don't need that much time to get amazing results. You really don't. You can get, I don't like to use the word get away with, but you can be strategic and target your training so that you can make sure that it supports your busy schedule. You can 100% do that. You don't need
Mm.
to spend hours in that. Even as you get older, the body does take a little bit of time to reflect and actualize what you're looking for. It just means you have to double down on the principles of training, nutrition, and recovery that much more, but it doesn't mean you need to do more of it in a week span. You just need to do more of it over time, and
Yeah.
you don't kill yourself to get to that result.
Exactly, absolutely. Because also, for example, in my case, I started training like if I was 22 again, like when I was in college, and I encountered a lot of problems, right?
Mm.
First of all, my ability to recover
Yeah, yeah.
is less than in my 20s. My ability to grow muscle as well.
Mhm.
And I thought like, okay, so I need to train like 2 hours a day, 5 days a week to get great results. And what happened? I got fatigued and
Mhm.
I got injured.
Yeah.
So like, uh, is it just me or is it something that has to do with age?
I mean, everyone's got that. And let me break this down a little bit. Like longevity is my day to day. If you kept it since you were 20, you don't have to restart it. But if you
Mm,
are restarting it at 30 and 40, you can't jump into it like you did when you were 20. Here's why. Let me break it down. Exactly what you said, Gaspar. You're going to have issues with recovery and you're going to have issues with injuries. If you spent years lifting hard, you
yeah.
were an athlete and your body got used to that. Your mind also got used to that. But then you spend 10, 12, 15 years until you're 30, 40 again to do it again. You probably got busy with the kids, the work schedule, all these things, whatever. But you jump back into it. Your mind knows, oh, I used to do these weights. I used to hit this weight. I used to do this
Mm,
exercise. And you jump into that exercise routine that you did when you were at 22 at 40, but you've spent the last 12, 15, over 2 decades sedentary. You are in a world of trouble. So
Mm,
for the folks starting out, when they work with us, we ramp them up. We bring them
yeah.
back to the intensity that they were at before. And here's the funny thing, you'll notice that if you dose it correctly, you probably only need a few sessions per week. Not that crazy, like 5 times 2 hours. That's 20, it's like 10 plus hours of training per week.
Yeah.
For some people, you can get a great response from 3 30-minute workouts. Like, for example, I had someone come in the call. He showed me his schedule. He's one of those guys that doesn't have anywhere in the schedule to be.
Mm,
We created something for him, 3 30-minute workouts, things like that. He's getting the results he's looking for. He's getting the time that he needs and he's making it happen. Now, when the schedule opens up, he's probably gonna be like, let me move that 30 to 45. Let me be a little bit more thin. But you can definitely get great results with time that's targeted and strategic. And you have to
exactly.
ramp it up appropriately so that your body can also catch up too. You don't want to just jump back into a program you haven't done in a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think that 45 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, if you're really consistent, especially if you've been off the gym for so long, it's like you're a noob again. And
Hmm.
your body is really sensitive
Hmm.
to the training, right? Because
Hmm.
if you're an experienced guy who's been lifting weights for 15 years,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe you need to work out more. You need more sessions, you need more weight, all the stuff. But if you're like really new, and you've been sedentary, yeah, you need to be careful, but also you'll get great results if you plan the whole thing right, correct?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Seamus, for guys in their 30s and 40s, how to minimize the risk of getting burned out or getting injured
Yeah.
or really way over your ability to handle fatigue and stress? Because
It's
stress adds up, right? Not only from your workouts, but from your
yeah.
entire life. It all adds up.
Yeah. Let's just say, first off, you're asking a great question. You're asking from a guy that grew up getting injured, doing wrestling and combat sports and jiu-jitsu. Um, First and foremost, let's just say in an ideal world, their stress is managed. They're getting ideal sleep. So they have a foundation to recover well.
Hmm.
On the other spectrum, like the injury, the training volume, all that stuff, minimum effective dose, man. Really finding what minimally works for you and utilizing training that you like that you can do, but it's ramping it up first. So a few things I would always say is you have to make sure that what you're doing, great technique, good training loads, but you're not going hard. Also prioritizing technique, warming up appropriately, uh,
Yeah.
making sure that part of that program also has mobility and flexibility part of the training and balance too. And making sure that the joints, the tissue are all primed to take that. It takes a while. That's a bit of a block. Some people want to go right out the block. I used to be that coach where in 6 weeks I'll transform you. We can, but in that 6 weeks too, if we rush it, you can get hurt,
Yeah.
right? But if you give yourself a bit of a time block of like, all right, I'm gonna hit my warm up, I'm gonna do a good workout, I'm gonna do a good cool down session, I manage my stress day to day. For a while there, you're not necessarily making amazing gains. You're like, just laying down the foundation, laying down the foundation. And then in a few weeks, you're like, oh, I'm ready to go. The nervous system's primed. The muscles are being recruited appropriately. You're not recruiting the wrong things. Your nervous system is ready to push. Then you start hitting big weights. And now you're training. You laid this foundation out that now your training is still the same amount of time, but it's so much more targeted and the intensity meets your recovery. Now you're getting the best bang for your buck. It takes a bit, but then you'll get there. It's amazing what the body can do.
That's why it's so important to have community and accountability because the first few weeks, maybe if you're really, really new to training, are gonna be fucking boring, right? You're not gonna go into the gym and lift, I don't know, 500 pounds in the press bench and then for all the girls to watch you and say, oh my God, this guy's so strong. No, you're gonna go in there, do the basics, 45 minutes, go back to your work, right? So it's
Yeah.
gonna be boring. You need somebody to keep you accountable. You need, this excitement is going to come
Yeah.
from knowing that the results are going to come
Yeah. No,
and
that's
you need to
100%
be
true.
consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the community and accountability and like relationships are super great. Like you and I are talking all the time. Gaspar, I'm watching your training, you're watching mine.
Yeah.
Our brothers in our group, we're coaching them up, and even other people that aren't in the Optimum U group, I'm checking in on them. I'm telling them, I'm like, You said you were working out. I don't see any videos. I know you've probably seen some of my
Oh yeah.
tidbits.
I think the awesome thing about having a coach like you, in my case, is that I can plan the whole thing and know, just be certain that I'm heading in the right direction because I
Hmm.
used to have problems trying to like, okay, Monday, chest and biceps. Thursday, biceps, and I don't know what to do. And then I get tired. I get my triceps tired, and then I have to do chest again, and I'm tired. I cannot lift. My
Yeah.
triceps became the limiting factor for
Yeah.
lifting weight instead of my chest. So the whole thing, guys, we have a program for you. If you want to maximize your results, you can join. It's called Optimum U.
Yeah.
Shameless. We've been talking for like 10 minutes, but who are you, bro? Like if somebody came into the group, they don't know you. Why should they listen to you?
Dude, that's a great question. Well, I mean, honestly, I'll tell you this. Like, look, I'm just a kid that grew up in the Philippines, a third world country at some point. My genetics, honestly, my genetics were actually against me. My physiology was against me. I had to become the person that had to overcome my genetics. I have like an autoimmune disorder. So it's like, if I can do it from a third world country, making it in his way into a nice Beverly Hills corner office on Golden Triangle right here. Look, my background is, I'm a board certified health and wellness. I'm board licensed. It's as rigorous as any board certification body there is. Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. My background in multiple nutrition things and, also exercise scientist, but my day-to-day is clinical, man. I'm looking at people's labs, I'm looking at people's hormones, I'm maximizing their muscle, maximizing. So you could call me like a peak performance specialist. That's what Optimum U is. And what I like to do there is take somebody where they're at, meet them where they're at, and make them, go from here to there. And they're their peak performance specialist. So that's and I've worked with thousands of people, and we keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Wherever you're at, if you're struggling with, I just gotta lose 20 pounds, I don't know what to eat. My doctor keeps telling me my this, my that, I don't know what this guy's saying. Or even, like Seamus, I'm struggling in the gym. It might just be you need to pinpoint a few things and speaking to the right peak performance specialists, like such as us. We do this for all the brothers. And the special thing is I know what the brothers are going through. So I know how to cater to them specifically everything that they need, right? So that's a little bit about me, man.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. You've been getting brothers in the Porn Reboot group to have amazing results with their physiques. We also pair that up with our dating reboot program. So they get fit, they get out in the world, pick a lot of chicks up, and they're having a great time without porn or masturbation addiction in their lives. So, but here's the thing. If you are over 30 and 40, you probably have messed up some of your biochemistry,
Oh, 100%.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you've been struggling with a compulsive sexual behavior, so you want to go into the gym, you get tired, you cannot sleep, you cannot focus. Besides, all the accountability and the coaching,
Yeah,
you also are suggesting brothers to take certain supplements. Just
yeah,
to give the brothers in the free group some insights, what are some of the supplements you would recommend? Like the
yeah,
most basic stuff they could get
yeah.
without the prescription and
Yeah,
without going
exactly.
to jail.
Let's do this.
What
Let's
can
do
they
this.
take?
Let's
Yeah.
go back real quick. You're talking about a specific brother, right? PMO, but you're trying to optimize 30 and 40-year-olds. That's a prime right time. Not only are we going to give you the right things, but like let's bring it back. Well, why should you exercise? Well, when we know that we exercise, we have BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factors that make the brain ready for rewiring. You're going to rewire your brain, right? You're going to anchor dopamine to things that are hard and things that have great outcomes in the long run. Your nutrition is going to be so primed to help you manage your cortisol, your stress, all these things, right? But before we even get into the supplements, and this is the beautiful thing about our program, we just got this. I don't know if you saw this, Gaspar, but we are actually
Yeah, I saw it.
the lab program now at home panel kit in less than a few days. I know exactly what to do with your lipid profiles, your glucose, your hormonal profiles. So now, and I see this with a lot of 30, 40-year-olds with the lab panels, they, we know this stuff, but like the big word is testosterone and all that. We know that ain't the only thing. Dude, that's not the only thing. So what we do is now we lock in the right supplementation for these brothers to make sure that their glucose levels, for example, I just was speaking with someone that's like they're dealing with everything that another brother's dealing with at 30 and 40, but they're like their glucose regulation, their insulin, their A1C is catastrophic. We have something
Mhm.
for that, right? We got certain things to put them in. let's just say we're talking about testosterone because that's a big one for these brothers. Okay, we got some testosterone. We look at certain supplementation. We have something called Prestige Labs that we partnered with as well. So with them, what we do is we go over the supplementation protocol, whether it be fenugreek or selenium, chromium, all these things that are great for boosting the hormones, but also at the same time, it's a whole thing. It affects their levels, they go up. Um, they're working on their recovery, the PMO, but then now they've got the exercise and nutrition, the lifestyle, and the whole accountability around it. It's a whole process, dude. So yeah, some of those supplements could be a hormone support, right? Whether it be a testosterone, and then whether it be a glucose support or even like a lipid profile support. And the bigger thing, the big one, one of our best ones is also like a craving kind of like thing. So we work in with people's
Mm,
like dealing with folks' issues with food, overeating, getting dopamine hijacked from high sugary foods, right?
yeah,
So we have so much in our pantry, but we don't just give it out willy-nilly, right? It's not that. We now have something in the analysis. We got that lab panel to pinpoint one, two, and three. This is your protocol. No more guesswork. No more guesswork. You go right to the solution.
great.
That's the beautiful thing.
Awesome, man. Because yeah, when you're like, if you're doing guesswork, yeah, some things might work, some things might not. But if you are trying to get everything in place to get the maximum results, the best results you can get, you want to do this. You want to get your lab work done. You
Yeah.
want to take what you need to take, and
Mhm.
then. But one last question, because this actually is a great question that I came up with because it's my own experience.
Perfect.
So you have everything in place. You have your nutrition in place. You have your supplements. You have your workouts. You have the group, the coach. Yeah, everything, right?
Yeah.
But successful business owners, corporate guys, they tend to have a very active social lives, right? So a lot of meetings, lunches, office parties, etc. Right? You
Dude,
know where I'm
so
going. So
there's so many.
there's always somebody who suggests having a drink or two, right? Let's
Yeah.
drink a whiskey, let's celebrate, let's pop up, open a champagne, something like that.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good idea if you're like doing everything to stay away from porn, or even if you don't struggle with that, but you want to optimize your biochemistry,
Yeah.
your physique?
Look, everyone's on a different path. I know JK said it, I know you've said it, but like alcohol is this thing. It's a powerful substance, guys. It really is. You have to really create that boundary within yourself and see where you're at in your recovery. So I'm gonna say it depends, right? Some brothers, man, they can have a drink, have a great night, swoon a lady. Some guys have a drink and they're messed up. You know what I'm saying? So it really just depends on the person. If you're trying to really optimize everything and you're trying to be gun ho, sometimes it might be best to have a boundary and not have certain things in your life. But now, if you did, we do have protocols on how to have those in your day to day without ruining your biochemistry. I've coached tons of men to have a drink, a few, and not have, their, not feeling drunk, they're not feeling hungover. And we have the right protocols in place for that to have make sure that their recovery is on point, make sure that their headspace is still on point, and they can still focus on the next day at work. It's pretty phenomenal. But yeah, honestly it's just a depends question. But if it were me, I would lean conservative because if you're trying to really push yourself and find
Yeah,
your potential, Gaspar, I would highly take those things out, and just make sure that your brain, your physiology, it all reboots completely, and you're really taking everything you can from the program, right?
great. Thank you very much, Seamus. We're running out of time. Guys, we do have a program. If you want to join, if you don't, like we are trying to help you out for free as much as we can to the best of our ability. Coach Seamus is a great professional, guys. If you want to really crank it up a notch and get the best results that you can get in the shortest amount of time possible, he is the guy. We tailor our programs for every brother in the group. This is not a cookie cutter solution like, yeah, drink this, they do that, 10 push-ups a
Yeah.
day, nothing like that. This is
Mhm.
tailored, personalized. So, Seamus, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah,
So, yeah, thank you very
I
much.
appreciate it. Look, I'll just say this one last thing for everyone that's on here and all that. Look, there are some of us, Gaspar, right? And this is going to turn some people off that really just want to push ourselves and dig deep and put everything on our shoulders and see how far we can go. We want to
Yeah,
see what the ceiling is. Some of us don't have what we call like a governor or the brakes. We don't have that. We want to keep going until the wheels fall off. And you know what? The crazy thing is, once you start finding the right people, the right systems, and the right things, your capacity just starts getting bigger. And you go like, you go, what breaks? What things? And it's crazy because all these systems, your schedule, your training, your workouts. Here's the funny thing. You propel itself so much. You even have recovery too. You're feeling good. Even when the world, for some people, feels so overwhelming, the guys in Optimum U, it's crazy. They're like, I feel like I can just do more. And they're already shredded and they're already running a business and they're already doing that stuff. Like me, man, it's crazy. So if you're someone that's like, what am I truly made of? How far can I go?
Yeah.
Yo, come on in, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Seamus. Thank you guys for watching this. If you have any questions, you know what to do. See you later.